Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Archana Solanki. Here are the headlines we're tracking this evening. DStreet snaps a three-day losing streak. Nifty reclaims 24,800 mark. Shares across Asia and Europe remain largely in the positive territory. President Trump hints at a blanket 15% or 20% tariff on countries yet to strike a deal with the US as the August deadline approaches. New Delhi is weighing all options. US trade rep says more negotiations are needed with India. United States and China continue negotiations to extend the truce and avoid escalating a trade war. Both nations likely to agree on extending the pause of higher tariffs by another 90 days. The talks could pave the way for a meeting between President Trump and President Xi later this year. IT industry body Nasscom warns of more job losses in the near term after TCS announced 12,000 job cuts this fiscal. Says traditional skills are being reevaluated, which could lead to some workforce rationalization. 58-year-old Shailesh Jejurikar becomes the first Indian to head global consumer goods major Procter And Gamble. He is the younger brother of Rajesh Jejurikar, the Mahindra Group executive. Shailesh Jejurikar is also a classmate of Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella at the Hyderabad Public School. A Blackstone executive among 4 people killed after a gunman opened fire at an office building in Midtown Manhattan. The skyscraper houses several offices and Wall Street firms. This is the deadliest gun attack in New York City in the last 25 years. The death toll due to Israel's war on Gaza crosses 60,000. A United Nations-backed food security body says a famine is unfolding in Gaza as more people die of starvation. And Home Minister Amit Shah tells Parliament all 3 men involved in Pahalgam terror attack have been killed in an encounter. Opposition questions security lapses that led to the attack. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra asked why Home Minister Amit Shah did not take responsibility for the attack and resign. All right, let's start with the day's market action. Sensex and Nifty snapped a 3-day losing streak thanks to a last-hour rally on the DStreet. Sensex gained over 400 points and the Nifty moved back above the 24,800 mark. Mid-caps outperformed the blue chips with the index gaining over 450 points. Bank stocks underperformed the benchmarks. All right, on to the big story that we are tracking. Now, this is moving the markets. US President Trump's August deadline to impose higher tariffs is fast approaching. Now, India is weighing its options as it's among the countries yet to strike a trade deal. Now, with the US sources say New Delhi has all options on the table, including a possible imposition of retaliatory tariffs. President Trump has threatened India with additional tariffs of 26%. From the 1st of August. Along with India, Bangladesh, South Korea, Malaysia, Cambodia and Thailand have not agreed on a trade pact with the US so far. The US did manage to sign a flurry of trade deals in the last few days. These include the European Union, the United Kingdom, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam and the Philippines. All of them are facing tariffs between 15 to 20%. Speaking to reporters in Scotland overnight, Trump hinted at a blanket tariff of 15 to 20% on countries who have not signed a trade deal yet. In India's case, this would be lower than the proposed 26% additional tariffs. Meanwhile, US Trade Representative Jamieson Greer hinted that more negotiations may be required to strike a deal with India. Take a look.
I think the thing to understand with India is their trade policy for a very long time has been premised on strongly protecting their domestic market. That's just how they do business over there. And the president is in a mode of wanting deals that substantially open other markets, that they open everything or near everything. So we continue to speak with our Indian counterparts. We've always had very constructive discussions with them. They have expressed strong interest in opening portions of their market. We, of course, are willing to continue talking to them. But I think that, we need some more negotiations on that end with our Indian friends to see how ambitious they want to be.
Markets making a mountain out of a molehill. exports to the U.S. from India are 1% of India's GDP. If you include services, it's 5% of GDP. President Trump is unhappy with what's going on in Ukraine. He wants a ceasefire. It's not happening. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. And so he's going to indirectly ratchet up sanctions on Russia through its intermediaries, of which India is a big one. And that threat of 100% tariff on countries which do business with Russia is, I think, a more material concern.
Right, top officials from the US and China are in a huddle in Sweden's capital, Stockholm, for a second day of trade negotiations. Both nations agreed to a trade truce in the month of May for a 90-day period that expires on the 12th of August. The talks lasted nearly 5 hours yesterday. However, no public comments were made on the decision. Both sides could agree to another 90-day tariff pause, and a one-on-one meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping has not been ruled out. Taiwanese president has called a planned trip to 3 allied nations in Central and South America. This after US President Trump reportedly opposed his stopover in New York. President Lai's office has not officially confirmed his trip. However, officials say that the president cancelled all overseas travel to focus on tariff negotiations with the US. And IT industry body Nasscom has warned of more job losses in the near term. This comes a few days after IT major TCS announced 12,000 job cuts this fiscal. In a statement, Nasscom has said that companies are pivoting towards product-aligned delivery models and that traditional skills are being reevaluated, which could lead to some workforce rationalization. Nasscom also noted that the industry is at an inflection point with AI and automation becoming central to business operations. Just yesterday, we spoke to industry experts on what TCS's job cuts could mean for the industry, and here's their response.
The focus on the Sholay dialogue, kitne aadmi the, or headcount base judging the IT industry, I think thank God that period will be over.
So I tend to agree with the TCS narrative that this is a future-oriented restructuring, because in the days of generative AI, when you're using ChatGPT a little bit and helping yourself, that was fine. But this is the day of autonomous agentic AI, which means that 80% of the work could potentially be performed autonomously. So in that context, when you look at your organization top to middle to bottom, then you do a fundamental rethink. And I think every industry, it does not just IT, but definitely including IT, will do this reorientation. There will be some shedding of jobs.
They got too many people at the middle and senior level, and they do not see them being useful, because people at the bottom too are coming up to those positions, and those people are stagnated, are possibly not in a billing role. It is a very small number. This is just right sizing.
All right, shifting focus to earnings now. Asian Paint's first quarter performance surpassed expectations on most parameters. The paint manufacturer's volume growth of nearly 4% was higher than estimates. Revenue was also above CNBC TV 18's poll, despite declining 0.3% on a year-on-year basis. However, net profit was below expectations, falling 6% despite a 24% jump in the company's other income. Larsen & Toubro have said that its hydrocarbon offshore business vertical secured an ultra-mega order from a client in West Asia. L&T classifies orders above 15,000 crore rupees as ultra-mega contracts. The company said the contract encompasses multiple offshore packages and the scope of work includes construction and installation of offshore structures. Eyewear retailer Lenskart Solutions has filed draft papers with SEBI for its upcoming IPO. The public issue comprises a fresh equity issue worth 2,000 crore rupees and an offer for sale of 132 million shares. Founders Piyush Bansal, Neha Bansal, Amit Chaudhary and Sumit Kapahi will sell stake under the OFS. A portion of the net proceeds from the IPO will be used to set up new company-operated, company-owned stores. And moving on, FMCG giant Procter And Gamble has appointed Indian origin Shailesh Jejurikar as its global CEO. He will be replacing Jean Moeller, who has been at the helm of the company since 2021. Well, who is Shailesh Jejurikar? Parikshit Luthra tells us.
US-headquartered multinational consumer goods giant Procter And Gamble has appointed Shailesh Jejurikar as the next global president and CEO of the company. Shailesh will be taking over from P&G's current president and CEO John Moeller in January 2026. The 58-year-old joins the list of top Indian origin CEOs in the US like Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella of Microsoft, Arvind Krishna of IBM, Shantanu Narayan of Adobe, Neil Mohan of YouTube and Leena Nair of Chanel. He also completed his schooling at Hyderabad Public School, which is truly a CEO factory with a strong alumni list that boasts of Satya Nadella, Shantanu Narayan, World Bank President Ajay Banga, and now Shailesh Jejurikar himself. So who is Shailesh Jejurikar? Shailesh Jejurikar got his bachelor's degree from Elphinstone College, Mumbai, and thereafter completed his master's in business administration from IIM Lucknow. He joined P&G in 1989 right after his MBA. What many may not know is that Shailesh Jejurikar and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella were classmates at the Hyderabad Public School and also very good friends, and they shared their love for cricket as well. Jejurikar was not only a cricket enthusiast in school but also represented Hyderabad in under-17 cricket tournaments. Shailesh's elder brother is none other than Rajesh Jejurikar, the executive director and CEO of Mahindra Group's auto and farm businesses. Someone who has worked across industries, including Voltas and Marico, over close to 4 decades. Both of them hail from a village called Jejuri near Pune. Speaking about his brother's elevation, Rajesh told CNBC TV18 that this was a proud moment for India and the family to see Shailesh being appointed as CEO of P&G, which is among the top 25 most valuable companies in the world. Jejurikar is someone who has worked across departments in P&G all his life, with stints in India, Kenya, Singapore and USA. And now he's risen through the ranks to become the CEO of the company.
Right. Thank you, Parikshit, for that. Shifting focus now. A gunman killed at least 4 people, including a police officer in Midtown Manhattan in New York, before shooting himself dead. The incident took place in a skyscraper that houses the headquarters of private equity firm Blackstone and Professional American Football League, NFL. CNN has reported that a suicide note in the shooter's pocket expressed grievances with the NFL. In the note, the shooter said he was battling a brain condition caused by playing American football in his youth. The 27-year-old gunman is believed to be from Las Vegas. CNBC's Contessa Brewer has more.
A lone gunman walked into the lobby where he sprayed bullets, shooting several people, got into an elevator to the 33rd floor where Rudin Management occupies offices, and then shot several more people before turning the gun on himself. Police officer Didarel Islam was killed, as well as 3 others. NYPD has not yet identified them, but the Wall Street Journal reports one of those is a Blackstone executive. We have not yet been able to confirm that. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell sent an employee email out saying one of our employees was seriously injured in this attack. He's currently in the hospital and in stable condition. NFL staff are at the hospital, and we are supporting his family. Goodell adds that employees based in New York should work remotely tomorrow. The man, or today rather, the man identified by police as the shooter as 27-year-old Shane Tamura. He has a documented history of mental health problems. An NBC News investigative team reports that a note found at the scene, written by Tamura, questions whether his mental health issues were linked to CTE from playing high school football. Now, we're just 5 blocks from where United Health CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down last December, and of course that sparked stringent reviews of corporate and executive security for many unrelated firms. This shooting is already doing the same. Roger Goodell told employees they should expect increased security when they do come back to this building.
In global earnings now, British private lender Barclays has reported stronger than expected earnings in the June quarter. The bank's pre-tax profit beat estimates, coming in at $3.34 billion, while revenue came in line with estimates at $9.6 billion. The firm also announced a share buyback of $1.3 billion. UK pharma major AstraZeneca surpassed revenue and profit expectations in the second quarter. This on the back of robust sales of newer medicines and strong demand in the USA. The company said sales in America were up by 14% in the quarter compared to last year. This helped overall revenues rise 11% year-on-year. The company also maintained its outlook for the full year, citing continued pricing pressure and global trade uncertainties. Tech giant Apple is set to close its first retail store in China, marking the company's first ever retail shutdown in the country. The company will shut its Parkland Mall store in Dalian City on the 9th of August. Apple has attributed the move to changes in the shopping mall's landscape. China remains a crucial market for Apple, hosting around 56 retail stores. This accounts for over 10% of its global footprint. The DPIIT has signed a pact with electric vehicle maker Ather Energy to strengthen the EV manufacturing ecosystem. The collaboration will include skill development drives and talent programs for startups. This pact also includes strategic mentorship for startups developing core EV and battery technologies. All right, time for a short break. Coming up next, Home Minister Amit Shah tells Parliament all 3 men involved in Pahalgam terror attack have been killed in an encounter. More details when we return. Welcome back. The big national story. It's day 2 of the Parliament debate on the Pahalgam terror attack and its aftermath. Union Home Minister Amit Shah told Parliament all 3 men involved in the Pahalgam terror attack have been killed in an encounter yesterday. Opposition parties questioned the security lapses that led to the attack. Priyanka Gandhi asked why Home Minister Amit Shah did not take responsibility for the attack and resign.
सुलेमान उर्फे फैजल जट, अफगान और जिब्रान 3 आतंकवादी सेना, सीआरपीएफ और जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस के संयुक्त अभियान में ऑपरेशन महादेव में मारे गए। जिन्होंने बेसरन घाटी में हमारे प्रवासियों को, नागरिकों को मारा था, ये तीनों आतंकवादी ये थे और तीनों मारे गए।
पाकिस्तान को सबक सिखाना था तो शायद ये मकसद अभी अधूरा है, क्योंकि हमारी कूटनीति विफल रही है। इसका प्रमाण यही है कि ऑपरेशन सिंदूर के बाद एक पाकिस्तानी जनरल जिसके हाथ खून से रंगे थे, अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति के साथ बैठकर लंच खा रहे थे। अगर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर का मकसद आतंकवाद को खत्म करने का था, तो पाकिस्तान को संयुक्त राष्ट्र के आतंकवाद विरोधी समिति का अध्यक्ष चुने जाने से इस मकसद को धक्का लगा है। इसकी जिम्मेदारी कौन लेगा? क्या हमारे प्रधानमंत्री लेंगे? क्या उनमें ये हिम्मत है? नहीं है।
The Supreme Court has not granted interim stay on the special intensive revision exercise in Bihar. This clears the way for the Election Commission to publish draft voter list in Bihar on the 1st of August. And the poll body will allow 30 days objections to be filed. Remember, the EC had refused to consider use of Aadhaar or ration card in the exercise after the Supreme Court raised it. The top court will now hear the case on the 12th of August. In international news, Israeli forces have killed at least 92 Palestinians across Gaza, including 41 aid seekers. This despite pauses in fighting to deliver essential humanitarian aid. Israeli human rights groups have released reports saying Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. A global hunger monitoring system has warned that famine in Gaza has reached immeasurable heights. This as Israel continues to severely restrict aid entering the strip. The total death toll in Gaza has crossed the 60,000 mark. Russia launched an overnight assault on Ukraine, sending 324 drones, 4 cruise missiles and 3 ballistic missiles across the country. Ukraine's Air Force said it shot down 309 drones and 2 missiles. However, 15 drones and 2 missiles hit targets in 3 locations. A Russian drone also hit a 25-story residential building in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, injured 8 people. Military commanders from Thailand and Cambodia held talks as calm returned to the disputed border. The commanders met at the border and agreed to maintain the ceasefire and stop any troop movement. This after Thailand accused Cambodia of violating the ceasefire early this morning. However, Cambodia has denied the charge, insisting that its troops have strictly abided by the ceasefire since midnight. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is in talks with private sector to invest in green energy, electric mobility and data centers in India. Speaking with CNBC TV 18's Timsy Jaipuria, Vice President of Investment Solutions at AIIB, Ajay Bhushan Pandey said that the bank's current exposure to India is at $12 billion. The former finance secretary added that the country's huge infra investment gap is a big opportunity for collaboration.
AIIB has a very large investments in India, and India is the largest borrower of AIIB. As you said, that our total approved project is about $61 billion US dollars. Out of that $12 billion, almost 20% is in India. And we are funding not only the sovereign governments like state governments and then the central government, but also we do investments in the private sector. Our private sector involvement, the approval, is about $1.8 billion US dollar in India.
Which are the sectors which would be the focus areas for AIIB, where there are projects or talks in the pipeline which could soon be seen as the next projects where AIIB would be investing?
It's a very good question. In India, we have already invested in the, the green energy, that is solar power. The solar power and then the battery, along with the battery, the wind energy, and then transport. Many of these metro projects we have done. And India has so many cities there which are developing and growing. Many of them will require metros and they will require funding. So then also the electric mobility, the electric vehicle, and then many of these such innovative projects, even the data center, for example. So these are the areas where the AIIB has already invested, but AIIB is also looking into that, it can invest more into many of these projects. AIIB is also invested in health sector.
Sportswear maker Decathlon is targeting local sourcing from India to hit $3 billion by 2030. The company is making 25 years in India and is marking 25 years in India, and the CEO Shankar Chatterjee spoke with CNBC TV 18's Abhimanyu Sharma.
We are really proud about 25 years in Decathlon. 2000 we started with the production and 16 years in retail now. We really expanded in our overall channels of physical retail. We have 132 stores now in 55 cities. Our digital footprint is increasing. We are able to deliver mostly all over India of 21,000 pin code. We are also exist in terms of wholesale business to really cater to the tier 3 and tier 4 and further areas. It's a very good question when you ask about the product typology and how exactly we are penetrating. If you see that we came a long way about different basic product to the real technical product in our range. Talking about cycle, what you see next to us, we're able to cater to the very top of the range by segment.
Which are the new products you're looking at? Which are the new markets you're targeting within India, even as you are using more domestic products as part of your production chain, your value chain within India?
Yeah, so have a look on our wellness area, which is linked with fitness in India. We are also trying to produce in India, and also today we see that there's a huge need of fitness equipments. We are also trying in terms of sourcing in India that how we can have made in India fitness equipment and can make it available in a price which is suited to the Indian customer. One very important thing what I like to tell you that we'll be always conscious about the value proposition of our prices. It is very important to make the sports product accessible to the many in India. We stay frugal in our overall business model. Our product prices has to be really optimal for the benefit of our customer.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. News and updates continue right here on CNBC TV 18.